You are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast.
What is going down? What is going down? It's your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Welcome to the show. Newcomers, if you're listening, I'd like to welcome you to the show. Hope you come back. I do this every Monday. If you're into nerd culture, then you've come to the right place. We talk about all kinds of shit here, guys. Anime, video games, movies, TV, toys, wrestling, all that shit. Yeah, man, that's what we do. And I just want to know, how do you guys feel out there? I feel fucking great. Had a great week. I've been obsessed with a certain game. And if you've been following me on Instagram, then you probably already know what I'm talking about. If not, I will definitely get to that. It's something that honestly I did not see coming. I didn't expect. And now I see what all the talk and all the fuss is about. I've talked to friends about it. I've watched shitload of YouTube videos about it, which persuade me to get the game. And man, I am not disappointed. Matter of fact, when I get off of this podcast and hit the stop button, I will be jumping back into it. And who knows how long I'll be playing. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But I'm going to talk a little bit about some Marvel stuff. I'm going to talk a little bit about just games in general, what's coming out, what I've been watching this past week, what I'm into right now. And yeah, man, let's just jump into the show. Let's start off by giving a little bit of news on a game that, I didn't see coming to the Nintendo Switch. But I mean, the Nintendo Switch amazes me in a lot of different ways because, there's certain games that have been announced and I just couldn't believe it would be able to run on the Switch. And a lot of these games run really, really well on the Switch. It's pushing it to its limits nevertheless, but it's still getting the job done. And when I heard this announcement, it kind of, I was taken aback. The game is, The Outer Worlds. Now, this is a game by a company called Obsidian, and they're responsible for, the Fallout series, if you guys don't know. But yeah, man, that game is coming out soon, and they are actually doing it for the Nintendo Switch as well. It just kind of blew my mind. I didn't see it coming for the Nintendo Switch. And, I like to see stuff like that. I like to see companies who are trying to get the games everywhere. They're trying to put it out everywhere. Now, a lot of us gamers, are only into one particular system. But in my opinion, if you have to ask me, I'd say maybe 50%, maybe even 60% of gamers out there, own a couple of systems, whether it be the Nintendo Switch and a PS4 or a Xbox and, PS4. But usually it's, we own two systems. Like I own, the Nintendo Switch and the PS4. And, everybody buys what they buy for different reasons, especially system wise. Usually you typically buy a system because you want their exclusives. You want the games that you can only get from that system. That's why, companies make their own systems for the most part. But then you have the other games, that basically, spread on all consoles. And they're not all created equal. And, if you are familiar with specs and how graphics and all that stuff work, then you should know that the Nintendo Switch is the weakest system on the market right now as far as, a game made for all systems. So, if they put out, a certain title for one game like the PlayStation and it's available for all systems, then you already know that, the Nintendo's going to be the weakest version of that as far as graphics are concerned, as far as maybe frames per second is concerned, all of that type of stuff. But I mean, the more and more I see and the more and more I look into the web or whatever, I find out that, they're finding ways to make this shit, percolate. They're finding ways to make this shit work and, putting more games onto the Nintendo Switch. So if you're a Switch owner only, which I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there, and you want to get your hands on some of these games, man, that's good news to hear. You know what I mean? It's definitely good news to hear. Now, of course, if you own two systems, I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to go with, the stronger system, but, I'll get to another point, later on where, sometimes you have a system that has both games and you choose to go the other route with Nintendo because of the power of that portability. That portability is definitely, something that can be treasured. And I'll definitely get on that later. I promise you I will when I talk about this game. But I just thought that was cool, man. I thought the Outer Worlds being available on this on the Nintendo Switch was awesome. I think that's cool, and I'm interested to see how it's going to turn out when it's all said and done. I thought I'd share that with you guys because maybe a lot of you guys are looking forward to this game and didn't know that it was coming to the Switch, but now I guess now you know. So I just wanted to let you guys in on that. As far as Marvel is concerned, I wanted to, something I heard, online, man, it's just crazy. But, I thought my favorite character in the Marvel universe, which is Captain America, aka Steve Rogers, I thought he was done in the MCU. I thought, after, the Endgame, his story was pretty much wrapped up. And for the most part, it was. But apparently, Disney's not quite ready to let that happen yet. Apparently, they still have plans for Steve Rogers in the MCU, apparently. It's really up to, the star of the show, the guy who has played Captain America. It's going to be up to him to I guess, dictate what's going to happen next. Because, he wants to get into other things and do other projects. And the reason why, if you're asking yourself, well, where would Captain America be if he's not Captain America anymore? Well, there's a couple things, he could be doing. I mean, they could take the story, and they've spoken on this a little bit. They could actually take, the years that he was gone. He went into that void, and they could focus on those years with him, basically being gone and not spending all that time, having a wife, having a family and things of that nature. They could focus on that. They could also focus on, going forward, Sam Wilson's story. They could take that, and if you know about Sam Wilson and that Captain America, he's actually still a part of the Squad in the books and some of the universes, where of course he doesn't have the soldier serum anymore or anything like that, and he's old now, but he still has a command position, kind of like a Nick Fury type of position, in behind the curtain, if you will. So they could focus on that as well. So there's a couple of different ways they could take this, and they could take his character. They could take that actor and go with. So I don't know, man. I'm not quite ready to let go of this guy. I'm not ready to let go of Steve Rogers yet, man. I mean, I think the Sam Wilson thing is going to be awesome, but I just love Captain America, man. I loved all his movies. The Winter Soldier is my all-time favorite MCU movie of all time. And nothing has been able to dethrone it yet. And I don't think that it ever will. But, hey, who knows? But all these fucking movies coming out, there's liable to be one to at least rival that movie in my eyes. They're all good to me, for the most part. But that one is just, goddamn, it was just so good. Everything in that fucking movie. But yeah, man, more information. Hope you guys, found that useful. On another note, I guess we could talk about Ghostbusters. Yeah, I said it. Ghostbusters. Well, you probably wonder what the fuck Ghostbusters. What are you talking about? Well, it was a game I never got a chance to play on the last gen consoles like the Xbox 360 and the PS3. Apparently there was a Ghostbuster game, and it was really, really fucking good. I looked into it. I saw some graphics of it. The game looked fun as fuck, and I can't believe I didn't play this. I think I heard about the game, but for whatever reason, I just wasn't able to get my hands on the game. But anyway, they're doing a remaster of this game, and it's going to be all platforms. They're spreading it on the Switch. They're putting it on, everything. It's going to be remastered. And a lot of people are really, really excited for this, man. And this is probably the opportunity that I'm going to take to actually get my hands on this Ghostbusters game and play it. I think it's perfect, and I think, I'm going to check it out and see what it's about. The question for me, I guess, would be, what system should I buy it for? You know what I mean? Because I've been doing a lot of thinking as far as the video game thing is concerned, and, depending on how the production on the game is, I'm thinking about trying to go the other direction on certain games. In other words, I'm thinking about picking up more of these ports, more of these remastered games for the Nintendo Switch, as opposed to, the home consoles, if you will. I mean, the Nintendo Switch is still a home console, but what makes the Switch so fucking unique is the portability, man. It's just, and if the game is, older games like that would be perfect for that. You know what I mean? Because it's not really going to take a nosedive compared to the other systems. You know what I mean? In that sense, because the tech is not that extensive to where it's going to make it work as hard. You know what I mean? So doing something like that would kind of make sense in a way. And I'll get to that a little bit later. Again, I'll definitely readdress that. But I just thought it was cool that they're coming out with this remaster of this Ghostbusters game. The game looks extremely fun and is definitely something that I would play. And, hey, I'm looking forward to it. I like, Luigi's Mansion was kind of, it's, I'm not going to say that's in the same, ballpark, but it kind of reminds me of like, how the controls might work or whatever. It just looks really cool though. And I definitely would like to play this game. I don't know how much it's going to be yet. I don't have the information, but it's supposed to be coming out really, really soon, August 4th. Yes, and that was actually the date I thought that Luigi's Mansion was going to hit, because that's what the rumors were in the street. I think somebody got their signals crossed, and they got maybe this crossed over with Luigi's Mansion, because Luigi's Mansion is coming out, of course, on Halloween. So interesting to see how much this remake is going to be. If it's only like $30 or something like that, I think that'll be a dope price for the game, and I think that'll definitely be worth the purchase. So just look out for that game. What have I been watching lately? Like, what have I been, checking out, all of that type of stuff, man. You know what? I've been watching Cloak and Dagger. I'm on season 2 of Cloak and Dagger now. A friend of mine, put me on that series. I was familiar with the characters slightly, just a little bit. The show is actually pretty good. It's not as dark as I would like it to be, because I think who's doing this? Like ABC is part of it. I mean, there's a cuss word here, a cuss word there, every blue moon, something like that. It's got a little bit of edge to it, but it's good enough to keep me watching. If it's good enough to keep me watching, then that's all I can say. I mean, it's a pretty good show. I recommend the show to you guys who are into, the superhero type of shows. And I'm going to get into more of, the superhero shows, because there's another one I've been watching and everybody's talking about this one. I mean, I've been referred this from somebody, then I peeped it, and then I was talking to another friend, and before I could tell him about it, he brought it up to me. So I know this show is, good. It's something about the show, and the show is called The Boys. The Boys is on what network is that on? Because everybody has a fucking network now. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's a dope ass show. It's really dark. Let me say that first of all, and it's right up my fucking alley. Something that is extremely dark. I mean, I haven't seen anything this dark since The Watchmen, as far as the characters and all that stuff, how everything is portrayed. And I think the next best one that comes, not even just, I guess in the same ballpark, you could say, is the Titans show. The Titans show is a dark show. But this one here is just, man, it's on some other shit. I'm keeping it real. And it's about, the corruption of heroes, man. It's so crazy. It's kind of like putting the shoe on the other foot, if you will. These heroes are corrupt, man. They're a group called the Seven. There's 7 of them, and they all have unique abilities or whatnot, and they're morally deprived. They have no sense of real, patriotism. I mean, nothing. Like they've been brought up that way though too. So I don't completely blame them 100%. You got to watch it. I don't want to give too much of it away, but just think about if heroes were assholes and dickheads. And, just think about that. And that's what these guys are. Think about a hero who's not afraid to kill children. That's what I'm talking about when I'm dealing, with this show. I mean, like I said, it's some dark shit, and I'm not even done with it yet. You know what I mean? And the reason why I'm not done with it yet is because if you're a guy, this has something to do with the story, but just listen to me real quick and bear with me as I take you down this journey, this path. If you're a guy and you have a girlfriend or a wife and you live together, the mistake I made with this show, because if I didn't make this mistake, I would have already finished the show this past weekend. But the reason why I didn't is because I made the mistake. And this may be selfish of me to say this, but I'm just keeping it real with you guys because I love you and we fuck with each other. So I got to keep it real. I made a deal, with my girlfriend to, watch this show together. So in other words, once I made that pact, once that contract was signed, I cannot basically renege on that contract. I cannot go and watch it without her. So I'm pretty much pigeonholed into waiting to where we both have time to watch this show together. So we got 3 episodes done. There's only 8 episodes. So we still have 5 more episodes. So with the way our schedules work, we have completely different schedules. Like our schedules, we don't get to spend much time together during the week. The only time we get is on the weekend. So now I have to wait till next weekend to hopefully we can finish it up by this upcoming weekend. If I try to watch it before she does, or if I try to sneak an episode or whatever, I'm fucked. You know what I mean? I'm in the doghouse, if you will. So I can't do that. So, guys, if you're out there listening and you do that, you make a pact with your girl. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that, but yeah, you just can't renege on that contract. So that's why I'm not finished. But from what I saw already, man, it is fucking pure. It is pure gold. I love this series. I'm now I'm looking into the characters, from the book because it's based off a comic. I had a lot of time to get into it, but I've seen a few things, but I don't want to get too deep because I haven't finished this season. I don't know how much time this spans over in the books or anything like that. And so I want to watch the show first. And apparently what I've heard is that there's some differences. There's some, differences in the show compared to the comic book, but that it's usually like that for the most part, but apparently it's some big ones too. That's cool because that means, once you read the book, if you decide to, you can go read the book and still get your enjoyment out of it, and your mind won't be, it'll still be fresh. It'll still be new. You know what I mean? I like that. It's kind of like what they do with anime and the manga stuff too. They switch shit up, a lot of the time because they know that some people like to read the manga and some people like to do both. And they want to give you, the customer, a little something on each side. They don't want to just have you rehashing the same thing. They want to, treat you to something else, treat you for buying that manga or treat you for watching that anime. That's kind of what it feels like here. If you guys haven't seen it or you haven't heard of it, definitely look into it. I highly, highly recommend this show. It is called The Boys and it is available on Amazon Prime. Check that shit out. I'll definitely be probably talking more about it after next week, because then I'll have seen it. That'll give you guys time to actually check it out, see if you want to mess with it or not. And then I might get into some spoilers, in the next podcast, not sure. But yeah, this is definitely one that I am actually really excited about. Let's talk about the Nintendo Switch a little bit here. We talked about it a little bit already, but there's been some stuff going on. Whispers in the streets, if you want to call it that. But basically what's happening is Nintendo is trying to do something with their online subscription service. Some people could look at it as a glass half full. I still look at it as a glass that is empty. Okay, that's how I look at it. I still think that these guys, these execs in these offices are, drinking their share of sake between them and still making some bad decisions here. Now, this could be a step in the right direction if they elaborate on it. And what I'm trying to say is this. Right now, Nintendo Switch is doing something to, I guess, reach out to the yearly subscribers. So if you purchase their subscription for a year, which is around $20, then basically what they're going to try to do, or what they're doing right now at least, is they're trying to offer sort of like a game access for 1 week. So they pick a game, they give you access for 7 days, for that game. And if you decide you like that game, then they'll give you a 30% discount on that game. That is, I have a lot of different thoughts on this. One of the thoughts I have is the fact that, you know, you can play the whole game, 7 days. You know what I mean? Like, I'm definitely perplexed with this one. First of all, it also depends on what kind of player you are. You know, if you're a guy who doesn't care about physical games or whatnot, if you're a guy like me who cares about physical games, then, you know, this is something that I'm not really feeling right now. I don't want to download all of my games. I mean, the indie games, which you have no choice to download most of them, that's pretty much what the memory is on my Switch is for, basically. The games that you can't even find a physical copy of for. That's what that's for. But the games that you can get physically is, you know, is what I live for, because I like that cartridge thing. You know, as small and tiny as they are, I still, you know, like the cartridges, like to collect the cards, you know. And even the cases, they're small. They're not as big as the other game systems and stuff like that. It's just, you know, that's just the kind of person that I am. But some people might not give a fuck. I mean, some people who just, you know, bought a huge fucking memory stick and they're just like, fuck it, I don't give a damn. Cool. I can see that working for them. But at the same time, giving somebody a week for the game, I guess is okay, because you can beat, you know, if you go in on the game and you have the time, you can go in there and you can knock out the game, beat the game within that 7-day period. And if you really, really love the game, you wanted to buy it, yeah, you can get your 30% off on the game. I mean, I think it's okay. And that's at best. You know, I really wish they would adopt something like, you know, Sony or Microsoft is doing, where you pay for the subscription, but you get, you know, you get a free game every month. Or, you know, they could just switch it up and get creative, you know, like they're trying to do here. That, in my opinion, is what the virtual console should be for. Every month you give them a random game on one of the consoles, one of the virtual consoles. You know what I mean? Like 1 month you might get a Game Boy game. Okay. The next month you might go with a Super NES game. Of course, a game that's not included with, you know, the Nintendo's minis, the Super Nintendo minis and all that stuff, of course. But, you know, there's so many more games you could give people access to, and not for a week, you know, give it to them, you know, for subscribing to the online subscription, man. That's just me. That's how I feel about it. Or, you know, some kind of major sales on these games. Like, yeah, they have certain sales, like certain percentages off like that. But I mean like major sales. Like, I know Sony has sales all the time. And some of these motherfuckers are like 75 to 80% off games. If you could do that, I mean, you still get your sale on the game, and, you know, everybody wins. They get a huge discount. They should do something like that. That's just my 2 cents. But that's what they're trying to do now. You know, what I just described. I guess it's a start, but a lot of people are still salty, including myself, because this is kind of like the wrong thing they should be focusing on, in my opinion, if you ask me. I mean, that's part of it, but this is not the most important thing. If you ask any Nintendo Switch owner, 9 out of that 10 is going to tell you that they want native voice chat. They want to have, you know, some sort of setup to where they can have parties. That's what, you know, Nintendo needs. That's the game breaker. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I mean, that will put Nintendo up there. I mean, they have their fan base, of course, already. You know, that's not really going to change, but that would definitely bring more people over, you know, to this side, man, because that's one of the major things that they're missing. Like, they don't have that, you know, they don't give you that ability to reach out and touch somebody like PlayStation, like Sony's able to do, you know, with your friends. Like, even my son, man, who's, you know, he's got friends that he's met online years ago. They're still friends to this day, still really, really good friends to this day. Don't even stay in the same, you know, in the same city. Don't even stay in the same state. I mean, that's crazy, right? I mean, I have friends of mine that I've met online, and I'm really good friends with them to this fucking day, man. And they don't stay in the same state. And you know, you don't get that every day. It's changed the game. It's changed a lot of things, you know, a lot of things in the gaming world, in my opinion, is responsible for a lot of that. You know what I mean? People who are nerds, you know, a lot of nerds. I'm a nerd. I'm a proud fucking nerd, proud to say that. But, you know, our groups, our little cliques, if you will, like, that's what we need sometimes. And I know a lot of people, who are Nintendo Switch owners are looking for this. I just know it. And I'm just so surprised of how clueless, Nintendo is on this spectrum, on this end of, what I'm talking about now. Like, how could they be this clueless? I don't know if they're just that clueless, or they got a plan, or maybe they just don't give a fuck. I don't know. But I really think that they need to definitely approach this and try to move that to the next plateau, because they've technically already got voice chat, in certain games. I've already discussed this many a time before, but the new listeners who may not have known, I mean, Fortnite is one of them. And Warframe is another one. Those are two right there off the top of my head that you could literally just plug in your headset and you could literally be talking to somebody online. Yeah. I mean, fuck these friend codes. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, man. It's just too much. And I think that Nintendo's just they're so stubborn. They don't want to admit they're wrong, and they're just going to keep riding that friend code shit out, maybe for the duration of this Nintendo Switch life cycle. I don't know. That app and that bullshit is just too much for me, too much for most games. We're impatient. We live in a world where everything is now. I don't want to hook up this piece to that piece to that piece. It's just not gonna happen. Not for me, at least. So yeah, give us some virtual consoles, give us some native voice chat. Those are my two, right there. And then the subscription thing, you can throw that in as a cherry on top. If I had to put that in order, that's the order I would take it. And, I just thought I'd share this information with you guys because I would like to really know how you guys feel about that, especially the owners of the Nintendo Switch. Like, how do you feel about this? And what is your state of mind as far as Nintendo Switch's online, thing right now? Like, where it's at right now? Where do you think it might go? If it's going to go anywhere? I'm gonna leave my money on the table and walk away on this one because, yeah, I'm done with that. I just think that they need to pour out the sake. Just take it, go to your cabinet, take all your bottles out, turn on the water and proceed to pour your sake into the drain, into the sink. I just think that's what they need to do. They also need to lay off the endo and stop rolling, endo after midnight. Stop smoking so much endo. Okay. Put up the scroll paper and just walk away. Because right now it feels like that's what's going on right now. If I walk into Nintendo's office in Japan and I walk right in there, there's going to be thick endo smoke in the air. I just know it. I may barely be able to see, what's in front of me. And then as I walk into an office or two, it's going to smell like hot sake breath. Just a bunch of hot, humid breath that smells of just oodles and oodles of fucking sake. That's it. That's what I think is going on out there. There might even be a little blow on the table. There might even be some ecstasy pills sprinkled out, throughout the offices because they have to be on drugs. They have to be drinking. They have to be chasing the dragon if they don't see what's going on right now with the online thing and what they need to be doing. And I'll leave it at that. I still love Nintendo. Don't get it twisted. Please don't get it twisted. I've been playing a shitload of it lately. I'm going to get into that. But they need to change some things as far as, the online thing is concerned. They do. They just do. And I know I'm not lying. I'm just not. Anyway, let me jump back to something else that I've been watching really quick. A new episode just came out recently, matter of fact. It's a fan-made show, and it's called Dragon Ball Deliverance. If you guys hadn't checked out Dragon Ball Deliverance, you need to check it out. One thing I do love about, the technology and the state of the age that we're in now is the fact that people are doing some amazing things now with software. Amazing things, man. And, fans of the series are starting to just, go balls deep. Pause. And they're doing their fucking thug thizzle out here in these streets, in these anime streets. They're taking their own ideas from characters who, who existed, and they're turning it into their own thing. Things that they may have wanted to happen, or, in a certain story or arc that didn't, they make it happen themselves. And this is what, I see when I watch Dragon Ball Deliverance, because, these are guys who are just animating themselves on their computers and doing this and taking this time and breaking this shit down. It's crazy. And the work that goes into, animating and doing all this is very extensive. I mean, which is why after a year, you only have, 2 episodes. And literally the second episode just came out not too long ago, maybe days ago. But the work is pretty dope. You can tell it's a small team, but you can tell they're also very, very passionate about what they do. And I was all in. I was glued to the fucking TV, wanting to know what happened next. They left it on on a fucking crazy note. I just want to say Gohan got his ass. I'm going to leave it alone. Check it out for yourself, man. Check it out. It's excellent. There's another one called Dragon Ball Absalon, which is awesome as well. And these guys are just very talented, man. I love when I see shit like that. You know what I mean? And me and my friend have always talked about, there's a friend of mine named Dig that who I met, happened to meet online. Matter of fact, the game we met playing was the very first, what was it? Dragon Ball Xenoverse, the first one. When I first got my PlayStation, my PS4, and linked up with him, and we were nerds. We found out we loved anime. We found out we loved games, and we clicked, and we've been cool ever since. But yeah, we talk about, maybe one day, if we get our money right, trying to, write some stories and get into our own and start our own, series, if you will, whether it be a short series or whatever, but just something. That's something I want to do. I've always wanted to do. Hire some dope animators and just kind of like go in. Yeah. It just feels good when you see shit like that. So I just wanted to give those guys a shout out. If you're into, Dragon Ball or anime period, you want to see something different and you want to see a different take on it, this is definitely something you should check out. Dragon Ball Absolution and Dragon Ball Deliverance. Check those out, guys. But yeah. While we're sitting here talking about Dragon Ball real quick, I'll go ahead and throw out a little news if you're a Dragon Ball Fighters fan like me. We got some new character reveals, okay, and a release date on one of them. And those 2 characters are Janemba and Gogeta. And I lost my shit a little bit with Janemba because I didn't think he was going to make the cut. I really didn't think he was going to make the game, but he did make the cut, and he's actually coming out sooner than you think. Matter of fact, really like days away. August 8th is going to be the release date of Janemba. So yeah, I only buy characters that I really, really like or really, interested in trying. And he's definitely one I would pay $5 for to, put him on my roster, because I don't have all the characters unlocked on Dragon Ball Fighters. Broly is not unlocked on Fighters, the first Broly, because I'm not a fan of that Broly. Now, I am a fan of the new Broly. I am the fan. So when he drops, I will definitely be picking him up. But yeah, Janemba is definitely going on that roster too. And I haven't played any Dragon Ball Fighters in a minute. Excuse me, I haven't played it. Yeah, it's been a minute since I played it, and this is definitely gives me a reason to pick it back up. Especially like they not too long ago did an update, which was an pretty awesome update, because they did some things with my boy Ten Shinhan, and yeah, I was pleased with that. So yeah, I need to, I'm rusty. I know I'm rusty. I need to get back in the lab eventually, but I just have so much on my plate right now, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to do that. And speaking of, my plate, like what I've been playing, what's been going on, I'm going to get to that in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. That's going to be one of the last things I talk about before I get off of this podcast. But what I do want to talk about is something that, if you guys haven't heard, I mean, you're about to hear it now, but it's got to do with the ESA. Now, if you guys don't know what the ESA is or who the ESA are, they're basically Entertainment Software Association. Okay. These guys are basically the company that's responsible for video games in general, as a whole, protecting the video games, protecting, the preservation of video games. Okay. And man, they've got a scandal on their hands right now, because apparently there was a breach of over 2,000 individuals, companies, personalities, and I'm talking about YouTubers. I'm talking about, press. You know what I mean? I'm talking about journalists. I'm talking about all of that. Okay. Over 2,000. And they were all breached at E3 2019. That's when the shit happened, because apparently for everybody who, out there who's watching the footage and, the coverage of all these shows and the E3 coverages and all that, you see those little, things around your neck, and they have the little card on your neck. I guess apparently to get those, you have to give your information out to, to E3. And I mean, information like very sensitive information, your address, your phone number, emails, things of that nature. Okay. And a lot of these guys were already, their information was exposed. And I mean, it's not looking good right now. First of all, I had to ask myself, why the fuck do I have to give you my address to get one of these fucking cards? You know what I mean? Like, to come and, look at games, to, go back and help you guys out with press and coverage. Like, why the fuck do you guys need my address? You know what I mean? That's crazy. You know what I mean? So a lot of these guys are very, very famous, and they have a lot of fucking followers. You don't want that information being out there like that. That means now they have to go change all this information up. I mean, who knows what the fuck? There's a lot of crazies out here. And, they got something on their hands right now. It's a big bowl of shit. Okay. I don't care how much sugar you sprinkle on top. It's still going to be shit it's still going to be shit with sugar on top. I don't care how you slice it. And apparently a lot of them have already come forward with cases, saying already being sued, and who knows how many more are going to come forward. I mean, you got some YouTubers, you got some, journalists. You also have some, other people coming forward with this, doing the same thing. So it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out. If you ask me, man, this could be the death of E3. This could definitely be the death of E3. I mean, Sony didn't come this year. I mean, a lot of people, who usually show up did not attend this year. And, this might put that nail in that coffin, or we might be looking at 2020 as the last E3, the official E3. If we even do that, because who's going to want to go and cover this shit now, with this breach thing hanging over everybody's head. And what makes matters worse is they knew about this for over a month. They knew that they had this breach over a month ago. And that's what makes it worse, because they knew over a month ago and did nothing about it just until recently. So everybody's shit was just floating out there. So I'm sure if you're a journalist, or if you're a YouTuber and you're getting shit in your mail and it's not your P.O. box, then you probably have, you probably want to make some calls. You probably want to make some moves. But yeah, that's everybody was pissed about it. And it was all over the internet, especially when you cover stuff like I cover, because I'm heavy into games and gaming culture and all that. So I'm covering this shit. I'm watching, I'm looking for, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I don't have anything else to say. I'm fucking speechless, but it is what it is, I guess. And, they'll figure it out sooner or later, but somebody's paying. Somebody's going to pay. That's definitely a given. Anyway, I think the way of, E3 is basically going to be the way of the dodo anytime, anyway, because the way that this social media thing is working now, everybody's just going to just release on their own shit, release when they're ready. And you'll just see the video pop up, on a random Wednesday or some shit like that. And you'll see gameplay footage and all that. That's probably where we're headed anyway. We'll see. At least I think it's going to be more watered down. It's not going to be as a big of a spectacle, in the future, I think. And this proves that, all of this shit right here is crazy. So anyway, I thought I'd share that with you guys. Last but not least, I want to talk about what the fuck I've been playing. Yes, what have I been playing? What game, you say? It hasn't been Mario Maker. Okay. Truth be told, I don't even have Mario Maker anymore. I played it, and to be honest with you guys, I just couldn't get into it. I was just, my mind was blown that I couldn't get into it. Honestly, I just really, I guess I wasn't as big of a Mario player as I thought I was. My personal Mario favorites are, Mario 64, the 3D Mario's types of games. You know what I mean? Those are the ones. That's the one that really I got into a lot. But the 2D Marios, man, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was something in the water. I don't know. And the reason why this all happened and everything was set in motion was because of a fucking demo of Dragon Quest Builders 2. Yes, I decided to play the demo, download it, and check the game out because I heard nothing but like super praises, and everybody I knew was playing this game. Everybody I knew. And I was like, yo, I don't really like Minecraft, but I do like the idea of building my whatever I wanted to build in the 3D, atmosphere. And man, I tell you what, I played the demo and by the time the demo was done, I was thirsty as fuck. It was over. It was a wrap. I mean, cancel Christmas. I had to have this game. So I went and got it and I gave back Mario Maker 2. Yeah, I'm not sad about it. Don't worry, I'm not sad about it. I'm extremely happy. I am so excited right now. Matter of fact, I cannot fucking wait to get back to Dragon Quest Builders 2 and, discover more shit. And then, the game is so awesome, guys. I'm telling you right now. It's so addictive, though, at the same time. I haven't had any sleep. It's crazy. It's basically about, your character and you're going around to other islands, helping people in these islands, function as a village, if you will, I guess. You run around and you learn to, grow crops because you can't eat without growing crops, wheat, cabbage, things of that nature. And then, you learn how to build things and everything from houses to bathrooms to, kitchens and restaurants and things of all of these things. And you can build to your heart's content. You can build whatever the fuck you want. If you have the imagination, you can build it. And I've seen some extraordinary things from people who build some crazy things, man. And that's what I love about it. The creativity, the freedom to build what you want. You actually get your own island. It's just a lump of, it's a big island, but it's a fucking clump of dirt. That's basically what it is. It's no green land on there. There's no decent soil there. So what you end up doing is going to other, other areas in the world and helping other people with their towns, with their, communities. And the more you help them, the stronger you become at building. In other words, you learn new things to build. You learn how to do new materials. You learn how to do brick. You learn how to do, wood and things of that nature and new contraptions for, your said village. And then you meet people who actually start to like you and want to actually teach you things and come back to your village when you go back to it. So, and then, they actually help you. You know what I mean? So you'll get a blueprint for this big ass fucking, big ass house or whatever. And they'll actually, you give them the blueprint, you put the supplies in the box and they'll fucking do the rest. They'll fucking build for you. So when you're out fetching other missions or getting other materials or whatever you might need, they're out here building for you and helping you. And when you come back, it's pretty much built. It's done. It's ready. You know what I mean? And it's just so good. And then you have, fighting. There's monsters and people who try to come and invade your land and fuck up your houses and your crops and everything like that. So you're fending off, these monsters, and your people, the towns people in the village are helping you. So you can actually, make them weapons and hand them weapons and armor and make them stronger, and they can fight for you and help fight with you when danger comes and arrives. You know what I mean? So it's like everybody's protecting the village because it's everybody's village. You know what I mean? So right now, my island is still kind of bare bones. I've done a couple things. We just laid some greenery there and I've, added some nice, fresh, spring water, to the island. But other than that, I haven't done anything, and I started to, but then I said, no, let me hold back because I want to go around to help everybody else and learn all the things I can learn, out there before I come back and build my shit. I don't want to build all my shit up with what I have now and then go out here and learn all this other shit and then come back and like, damn, I got to tear all this shit down because now I know how to make this and that. You know what I mean? That's what I want. But my number one dream in this game, My number one dream was what I want to do in this game. I want to build a tower like Corrin's Tower in Dragon Ball. I really want to make my house, in a Corrin's like tower. So I want my shit all the way in the fucking sky with windows all the way around it where I can peep, the scenery and see everything that's going on around me. You know what I mean? That's what I want to do. So that's going to be my home, in on the island, my main hub, if you will. And then, I might do a mansion or something, or like something like exotic, later on down the line or something, which would be dope. But yeah, you learn how to make all kinds of stuff, man. You learn how to make beds, couches, thrones, and all kind of grades and different versions of those. So you can do a watered down version. You can just like a regular, futon, layout. Then you upgrade to a bed, and then so on and so forth. Chairs, tables. You learn to farm, like you can get into animals. Like I just started fucking with chickens now, like trying to get chickens for the village and trying to get those in a farming way and learn how to do all that. It's just so good. It is so addictive. And, I can't wait to get back into it, man. I really can't. But that's what I've been playing. That's what I'll probably be playing until, honestly, I'll probably be playing that until, Astral Chain comes out. Honestly, that's just keeping it real. And I might, switch between that and Marvel Ultimate Alliance a little bit, upgrade some more characters here and there. But other than that, yeah, that's probably what I'm going to be doing, man. Haven't played a lot of PlayStation lately, not too much PlayStation, man, just all Switch right now. And that's why I bought it. I bought it for shit like this. And I could have bought it for the PlayStation 4, but I chose not to do so because I had a feeling that this game was going to get so addictive and I wouldn't be able to take it everywhere. So now I am happy to, go somewhere that I might have to, be for a while. I'll just take my Switch and I have Dragon Quest Builders 2 with me. I'm good now. I can work on some properties. I can work on this and work on that. And the game is huge, man. I heard compared to the first one, it's like night and day as far as the size. So yeah, the game is fucking massive and I'm still just getting my feet wet. I'm still in the beginning stages of the game. I just got off the first island, which is supposedly the beginning of the game. You know what I mean? So I'm early. So now I'm on this next island, this other island now, and I'm trying to see what that's about. I'm meeting new people now, and I'm trying to see what I can get done tonight, and I'll go from there. And I can't wait to show off what I build in that game eventually, and invite people to that universe and that world. I'm sure somebody's already probably done Corrin's Tower too. Somewhere out there's a Corrin's Tower of their interpretation or version of it out there. But I'm gonna do my version. You know what I mean? I don't know if I want it to be brick. I don't know what I want because there's still so many materials I have yet to discover. You know what I mean? So there might be another material that is better than that, and that's the one I'm gonna want. And then that long ass fucking ladder you take all the way up there. I can't wait for this shit. I can't wait to get back in here. And, doctor up my island. My island's going to be so lit. I'm telling you, I can't fucking wait. So before I even start building on my shit, I'm going to go help as many people as I can and learn all I can and get all the resources I can and bring back all the people that I can to my spot. And it's going to be so good. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to get my ass up out of here. I want to thank everybody for listening. Newcomers, I want to welcome you to the podcast once again. And thank you for lending me your time and your ear. If you want to contact me, you can get at me social media, easy peasy. It's that simple. Instagram is Studio MacGyver 79. Twitter is at Studio MacGyver. Facebook at Studio MacGyver as well. I have a YouTube channel that is Studio MacGyver TV. Check that out. I'm going to have new videos coming very, very soon. I'm almost stacked up a lot of my videos, and I have to reach a certain amount before I can feel comfortable with releasing videos on a daily basis, but I'm getting close. I got a Discord coming soon too, guys. You might want to check that out. I'll let you know when it's ready and it's available, all of that jazz. And with that being said, I'm gone, man. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. This is Studio MacGyver, and you have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.